boss's son tossed a can aside, and his father's bodyguard immediately stopped him.
Some respect. What? Hey, come on, I know your father didn't raise you to act like that. Just apologize.
It's okay, he didn't see me.
Anyone who can't see you is blind. Come on, apologize. All right. I'm sorry.
Faced with the bodyguard's sudden act of kindness, the woman was overcome with fear, as in nobody like her. All she could do was pray they'd stay away from her, but she had no idea that her fate was about to be completely rewritten that very night. The woman's name was Thony. She was a cleaner at this boxing gym. Just as she finished cleaning and was about to leave, she witnessed a man being murdered. At that moment, Thony was overcome with panic. She knew she had seen something she shouldn't have. Just as Thony was calming herself down, waiting for everyone to leave, her phone suddenly rang. Soon after, Thony was dragged out by the gangsters and tossed next to the boss's body. When she looked up at the boss's corpse, she knew that if she didn't do something, she would meet the same fate as him. She tremblingly straightened her body and mustered her courage to speak the words that would change her life.
I'm just a cleaning lady. Let me clean it for you. If you wait, the blood will seep in the cement. Sodium peroxide is best.
Thony's words immediately caught Amon's attention. He couldn't understand why an ordinary woman, facing death, didn't cry out begging him to spare her. Instead, she was negotiating terms with him. Just as he was hesitating over whether to spare Thony, the guy standing beside him suddenly spoke up.
Boiling water will do it.
Cold water. Heat sets a stain.
Clearly, Thony had piqued Amon's curiosity once again, so he decided to give her a chance. Hearing this, Thony breathed a sigh of relief. But she knew her life was still in these men's hands. She struggled to hold back her sobs. The only thing she could do now was clean up the mess and satisfy the group in front of her. Before long, Thony had cleaned up all the blood, and Amon was very pleased with her work. Only then did Amon ask Thony about her identity. Thony explained that she was Filipino and was only staying in the US temporarily, planning to return to the Philippines soon, so she didn't want to get into any trouble. Amon didn't say anything at that moment, but stood up and walked directly over to Thony.
I really need to get back to my family.
Let's get you home before they miss you too much.
Thony knew Amon was using her family to threaten her into keeping quiet. Soon, the gangsters drove Thony back home. Only after locking the door from the inside did Thony's taut nerves finally relax. But while taking a shower, the strong-willed Thony could no longer hold it together and burst into tears of despair right there in the shower. It turned out that Thony had been a surgeon in the Philippines to have fallen to this state, all because she wanted to save her son, Luca. Luca suffers from a congenital immune deficiency and can only live in an isolation room every day. 6 months ago, she learned that someone was willing to donate bone marrow to her son, so she came to the United States. However, the donor changed their mind right before the surgery. In order to secure another chance, Thony stayed in the US with her son, staying with her younger sister-in-law. After their visas expired, they became undocumented immigrants. Thony knew that if the donor ever changed their mind, she and her son might die here. After a night of deep reflection, Thony made a crucial decision. Early the next morning, she took her son to the hospital. After settling Luca in, Thony walked up to the front desk. When the nurse discovered Luca's visa had expired, she immediately denied his request for treatment. Although she had long anticipated being turned away, Thony still mustered her courage, hoping the nurse might help her. But she had overlooked one thing: no matter how willing the nurse might be to help, in the face of the cold, impersonal medical system, no amount of compassion would make a difference. In the end, Thony could only leave in frustration. Just then, Luca suddenly waved goodbye to someone across the room. When Thony looked over, she froze in shock. Sitting directly across from them was that gang member. Thony had intended to pack her things and leave immediately, but after a moment's thought, she walked straight toward him instead.
Tell him I want to see him.
Soon they arrived at a private hangar. Thony knew they must have investigated her, but she still mustered her courage to threaten him. "Don't touch my son." Amon, however, had his men bring out a sum of money and a cell phone, which he handed to Thony. It turned out Amon greatly appreciated Thony's work from the night before. The money was payment for her work, and the phone was meant to ensure Thony followed his orders. Clearly, Amon was telling Thony that if she didn't want to be eliminated by the gang, she had to prove her worth, and her only value lay in serving as the gang's cleanup crew. Though Thony was extremely reluctant, she had no choice but to accept the money and the phone, and at that very moment, Thony's fate was completely rewritten.